Hey guys, what's up? My name is Melissa, and you're listening to Wow, where we discuss unconventional norms of lifestyle, career, and world points of view. On Wow, people discuss their journey to become Wow, hosted and curated by me, Melissa Witherspoon. Hey guys, welcome back. On today's episode, we have Mr. Paradise Vibing. He is an amazing artist. I became familiar with his artist just by way of chance. And the story was very organic and everything. You know me, how I am, guys. I'm always talking, I'm always yapping, I'm always doing me. I'm always hustling. Um legally, not illegally, y'all. But so we're gonna have a great conversation. But Mr. Paradise Vibing, introduce yourself.
How y'all doing? My name's
Hey.
Paradise. That's not my real name, but that's my artist name, of
That's your
course.
real name for the money, the checks
You
when they
know,
clear for your artistry.
exactly. That's my LLC, so that's me.
Okay.
Self-taught artist,
Okay.
live in DC,
Okay.
born in DC,
Ooh, Washingtonian. Okay.
but didn't live here forever. Did 12 years down in North Carolina,
Okay. So you
so
mixed.
got a little bit of everything right now.
Okay.
Yep.
But your roots are always Washington, D.C. When we claim you, we claim you.
DC. My
Forever.
name rings bells generationally
Okay.
in
All right.
DC.
So let's get down to it, guys. Let's go on a little bit of short bio of Mr. Paradise Vibing. Paradise Vibing, a DC artist, is self-taught painter specializing in portraits of iconic figures throughout modern history. Originally an inventory auditor at the House of Representatives, Paradise Vibing resigned at the age of 25 and pursued a career in art. 2 years later, he's still just beginning on his journey, but the future looks bright by the day. So, first of all, cheers to you. No, salute. You stepped out on artistry. Go ahead, take your call. You stepped out on artistry.
Yes,
Like-
I did.
That I think that's the biggest, I would say, fear of every artist that is not mainstream or have all the Instagram followers or even have the endorsements and brands is to step out from that corporate job, that government job, the job that pays the rent.
It's definitely easier.
Talk about your journey,
It's
please.
It's easier said than done, of course.
Okay.
So the journey, I guess, starts high school.
Take it back. Come on, tell us all. Let's bring
I-
it back. We're gonna go back. Let's go way
I
back.
graduated a semester early. I was always like really smart.
Okay.
Did really good in school. Never got anything less than a B. you
Okay.
know, So it's always been
Academia. Okay.
just coasting. Because I mean, school's pretty easy, especially public schools. I mean, it's. Speaking for
Okay.
myself.
Okay. No, you be yourself. Be yourself.
Okay, I mean, I'm just speaking for myself. It was pretty easy for me.
Okay.
I never had to study homework. I never even had homework. It was always done.
Please don't
in
tell me this was like this in college for you too.
college too. Okay, I take that back.
What?
I started off at NC State. I was very like.
Shout out to the
I was-
HBCUs.
I was studying mathematics at NC State, so that shows where I was at.
Don't tell me that mathematics came. You literally was partying every night and you could like literally finesse a test.
No,
It's okay. You don't gotta lie to me, Craig.
Mathematics at NC State was like all the way up here. It was
Okay.
a whole nother level. I thought I was like, no, I need
Okay.
to definitely chill out. I thought I loved math. The people there loved math. Where I was from, I thought I was smart. It's like when people go to Harvard. When people go to Harvard, they realize, okay, I was definitely the smartest at my high school, but now I'm here. And
It
that's
was
how I
humbling.
felt at NC State. I was like one of the smartest at my high school. Now I'm here, and it's like, whoa. And I, first time away from home,
Of course.
definitely the work was a lot more crazier than anything I experienced in high school, of course.
Okay.
So after 2 years there, I think I had like a 2.9 GPA.
Okay.
I was still in the mathematics program, but I wanted to get out of it.
All right.
And they said you had to have a 3.0 or higher to change.
So how you finesse
major.
that?
I just switched schools. Went to North Carolina Central University.
Okay.
Yep, HBCU.
And
did that for 4 years.
okay, I went to UMES. Well, of course, I go to Howard right now, but I went to UMES for undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so shout out to the HBCUs,
Mm-hmm.
all 107 of them. It is Black History Month.
It is. But before that, like I said, I graduated early from high school.
Okay.
A semester early, and that's when I started doing like clothing.
Okay, cool.
And that's when I first put a drawing of mine on a shirt, from drawing to a digital to the T-shirt, and that was at 17. And I just kept doing that for a while, honestly.
Did you thought about doing a clothing brand?
It was a clothing brand. It's called Paradise Clothing, is what it was called at 17. And now we got ParadiseVibing, which is kind of multifaceted.
So you still have the clothing brand?
I still make clothes.
What? That's dope. Hold on, you never mentioned that. And wow.
Yeah,
so
it's always been about the clothing. I just started painting.
Okay.
Painting art. When I quit my job, even it wasn't like I wasn't necessarily thinking I'm gonna be this painter and I'm gonna do all these things.
Okay.
I just knew that I didn't like where I was at. I knew I was a creative. I knew I liked making things, and I knew that I would never be a millionaire sitting at that desk.
Talk about the spiritual warfare with that journey, because it's for any creative that's really creative and you was at the House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm.
I have worked with people that I have worked with, so I understand. Even though I was in the film TV world,
mm-hmm.
I understand working around the White House and stuff and everything.
Definitely.
How being in that world, and especially being on that side of the world, stability and comfort is everything. Mm-hmm. Like, even though the news is constantly changing, mm-hmm. you get comfortable. Mm-hmm. How were you like literally able to do it? Like literally divorce yourself from that comfort?
Because it was comfort in the stability and the security and knowing that I got money and my student loans going to be paid off and I got to get health insurance and stuff like that. But it was no comfort in knowing that I had to wake up every morning and go work 40 hours a week for what I would call, it was higher than the average income, but it was not for what you're doing, 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month. You really just put that into perspective. And I figured if I did 160 hours a month, which times 12, what's that? 1632. That's a lot of hours. I'm not even gonna do it right now.
Don't do it. Don't. We're not. We know you're a mathematician, but you don't gotta do it. It's
a long time, and I just figured if I put that much time into myself, I would be a lot better off. I said if I saved every penny that I had made over the course of 5 years at that job, I might have a little over $250,000. Okay, but if I work hard for myself every day for 5 years, I know I can do a lot better than that.
So your passion was able to fuel you enough.
Yeah, and I had told my mother about it, and that's who you want. You're always doing it for your parents at the end of the day. When I graduated college, I started on a contract. I was just a contractor for the House of Representatives, and after 6 months, they told me they wanted to bring me on full time. Okay. So of course you can't turn it down. No. Good benefits, higher pay. So I took it, but I never wanted to work there full time. Okay. They just said I did well and I was good at what I did.
You felt like the token black, like you was like, okay.
Believe it or not, it was a whole bunch of black people with me.
That's wonderful. That is rare.
The government is full of black people, especially the DC government. It's a lot of us.
Okay. That's so rare, and so that's great to hear that the diversity and stuff and everything.
Yeah, my manager was black. Yep, Charlene.
Okay. Hey, shout out to Charlene. So you talked about how you wanted to make your mother proud. So would you say your upbringing cultivated that? So when the time came, it was like I can stand on my faith. I can stand on me.
No, I don't think it was my upbringing. My parents definitely are like, go to college, get a job.
Right. So I remember, okay, rewind. I haven't even said how I met him. How did I meet him? Okay, so Spike Lee came to the DMV.
Mhm.
He did, first of all, Spike Lee is one of my greatest influences as a director, just the way he is able to sell his vision and the whole entire whatever. He came to Spike Lee. I mean, I'm saying Spike Lee. He came to Mahogany Bookstore. He had a intimate. I called it a master class, but what would you call it?
Conversation with Spike Lee.
Okay, conversation with Spike Lee. That was what it was. And he basically talking about his book, showing all the behind the scenes imagery, still frames of his work in it. The Go check it out, and also go support Mahogany Bookstore and buy it from Mahogany Bookstore. And you got up and you gave your Spike Lee piece, and it was gorgeous, guys. Like, go check out his Instagram, and like it was gorgeous. And then you got up and told your story how you came from a very not artistic family. Your family
No.
comes from. Let you describe it. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah. My family is definitely uh, astute, I guess is the word you would use. My grandfather, his name, we share the same name. I'm the third.
Okay.
His name's not Paradise, of course, but I'm the third. And my grandfather was a doctor, so he
Okay.
had 3 degrees. And then my father was a lawyer. He had 3
Okay.
degrees. Then my sister, she's the one who got me the job at House of Representatives. She has 3 degrees, and she is manager HR, House of Representatives. And then there's me.
Okay.
And I got my brothers, they're twins, and one of them's in law school right now.
Okay.
And the other one, he's still figuring himself out. He's more like me.
Okay.
And so definitely school, get a job, a high paying profession. You know, they wanted me to be an engineer. I wanted to be an engineer. You know, at first.
Before the calling came.
Until I realized that a 9 to 5 and that life is not really one that I want to really do personally.
So would you say, because I'm trying to paint the scenery. Have you seen Our Kind of People?
No, I haven't.
Okay. You come from a very upper class black elite.
I mean, I went upper middle class.
Okay, thank you. To give me the correct terminology.
Upper middle class.
Upper middle class.
They have, my parents. They've been invested. My dad's a lawyer, so.
And you come from generational.
Yes, my dad definitely grew up he was he was all right for sure.
So understanding that, because just a little backstory, my grandmother grew up like that, but my grandmother decided to literally step away from that and marry somebody that was on the opposite completely. In the 1940s, my grandfather resulted in my mother and her sisters, and then of course me. Yeah. But she always talked about, like, you don't understand the time of a black woman coming from that type of money, that type of class, literally say, to hell with everybody, and I'm stepping out of that world.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So even though times have changed, understanding that you kind of basically did the exact same thing in 2022.
On some level, my parents didn't threaten to disown me. It wasn't like that, and I didn't have to. They just, when I told my mother that I wanted to leave the House of Representatives, she was understanding.
Wow.
And I didn't understand why, but then once I left, she told me that she had got diagnosed with cancer.
Okay.
And that was like exactly when I quit. She told me, and
it changed her whole entire of what life is about.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like her perspective of life changed. You know what I'm saying? So she green-lighted me quit my job. I might not have even left had she gave me a hard time about it. So at least not at that time.
No, but you brought up something else that I think a lot of people are always nervous about. Like, sometimes when you hear the word cancer or a disease or something that's so devastating, you think that's the there to be all, especially if someone is to transition to the other side. But it can be actually a spiritual rebirth.
Definitely.
And would you call that it was your spiritual rebirth?
I would say it gave me just her. I would say she's guiding me, you know what I'm saying? Definitely. Wow. Ever since she left, that's when I started painting.
Okay.
So I wasn't even painting before she passed away. She passed away in March. 2020, and I
Okay.
was started painting March 2020.
Was it a form of grieving as well? I mean, like a grieving?
Definitely, of course. I was able to just put my head down. I painted every day for like 8 to 12 hours every day
Wow.
for like a year and a half.
That's amazing though. That's first of all, that's beautiful how you was able to take losing your mother and transition it into something that like,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, she had given me the green light to quit my job.
Okay.
Now I told her that I was, of course I'm gonna be successful no matter what. It's just not gonna be conventional. So I'm trying to just prove it to myself, prove it to her, prove it to my father, who's still here, prove it to my sister who got me the job at the House of Representatives, prove it to my brothers who were right behind me. So
Let's get into the proving because I understand because I'm in the same boat. My father was I can't say, but he was up there in the government as well. And my mother is a retired police officer. Um, they would love for me to go to the
yeah,
same.
conventional.
Right. I came to them at 9 years old and told them straight up, I'm gonna be a director, producer, and an entertainer.
Oh wow.
And they was like, "Oh, okay, honey, like that sounds wonderful." Thought that was a phase. Came again in high school, told them straight up, this is what's gonna happen. Okay, baby. Thought that was a phase. College. Okay, baby. And then I decided to really make it clear again,
Yeah.
go to film school.
Yeah.
And the monkey on the back of always trying to prove it to yourself, prove to everybody, like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy.
You gotta have the chip. You gotta have the chip on your shoulder. It's important.
But talk about it, because some people, when they talk about the chip, you always hear animosity about it. It's like, why is it kept? You get Kanye syndrome. Like, you hear, like, when you hear the chip, you be like, then you're gonna walk, I hate this person, I hate this person. I get on the speaker box, just.
Well, I mean, I guess the chip on your shoulder is definitely it might look different for everybody.
That's true, too.
But I've always been very calm, and my emotions always at a certain level. They don't get too heightened, they don't get too low. They always stay at about a base level. And if they're off, then something's probably really wrong.
Okay.
So for the most part, the chip on my shoulder just keeps me driven. It's not like I don't have any animosity toward anybody. Just trying to prove stuff to people around me, to myself. Nothing crazy.
No, I understand.
Just the fact that you don't have to go the conventional route. You don't have to be conventional. You don't have to go to 9 to 5.
To make it.
And what is making it,
Let's define success, because everyone's ideal of success is so different,
Yeah, I mean, a 9 to 5 was never my idea of success. Working there until I retired at 55 or 65 just never seemed like something that was appealing to me. Even if I retired with $50 million, I would not sacrifice the next 40 years of my life for 50 million at the end. I'd rather just live the next 40 years in the wilderness.
It's something about being your own boss.
Yeah, I think that plays into it. My father, he was a lawyer, and he quickly started his own practice. So he was working for himself immediately. And my mother, she worked in a law firm, so she always worked in the same law firm forever until she moved down to North Carolina. So definitely two perspectives. My grandfather was a doctor, but he had a home practice at a certain point as well. So, yeah, definitely don't want to work for anyone else. I don't like that. I don't like being capped. I don't like knowing how much I'm making.
Yes, it's like a glass ceiling. Like it feels like, I don't know how to describe it, but you get what I'm saying. I'm trying to.
Like I said, when I broke it down, I said, if I work 5 years and save almost everything, I might have, $250,000,
Right.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah,
like I'd rather bet on myself.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I'm like, 5 years is a long time, and that's me saving every penny, and that's still only $250,000, which is not really much in this day and age.
No, it's really not.
Yeah, can't even get a nice house in California.
Would you say that watching your parents at a young age and able to go to your grandfather's practice, able to go to your father's business?
No, I never met my grandfather.
Oh, you never met? Okay, never met your grandfather, but going to your father's practice, did that give you a hustler ambition that you could not explain? Like, it's hard to explain to somebody else?
Let me think. What really gave me that the ability to just say,
Because it's still
get
a
it all.
business.
Yeah, I would say entrepreneurship always came to me early, and I don't think it was like me selling candy. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to me, you know, trying to get the candy off to the kids at school, and then you know the T-shirts or whatever it was. I was always wanting to make money.
Okay.
So before I could get a job, I still wanted money. So I've always been like money. And I've always wanted to be rich. And I always knew you're not going to get rich working in 9 to 5. And if you do, it's going to be off the investments, like your friend,
Yeah.
26-year old.
Shout out to Mac.
Yeah, who's making the investments necessary to get there. But it's all about investment.
Right.
So you can do that anyway. You can, you know, before I quit House of Representatives, I was going crazy. Like I wrote down every expense I made for like 4 months.
Okay.
Knew exactly how much I was spending each month. I was going to yard sales, buying stuff, reselling it. I was going crazy, going to TJ Maxx, purchasing T-shirts with anime characters on them and selling them on like resale sites. Just getting money, however. So it's always been in me. And I wasn't even paying. I wasn't doing much. I was just at the House of Representatives, drawing on my post-it notes, just looking for a way out.
Okay, no. Can you talk about, so when you finally made the decision, I'm gonna quit my job, did you just quit cold turkey or you had yourself a game plan?
You always gotta have an exit plan.
Talk about that, because I think when artists, they automatically think that an artist is just woo.
No. I mean, you can be, but I'm calculated. I'm right brain and left brain. I feel like, you know, going to school for mathematics, but also being very good at painting definitely just attest to the right brain, left brain. So I'm calculated, but I'm also free at the same time. And I think the calculation is what gives you the freedom.
Okay.
So before I quit, I probably, like I said, I wrote down every expense I was making. So I knew exactly how much I needed to save in order to be all right. And I probably saved up, I think I saved up like a little less than $20,000.
Okay.
And paid off my bills for like 6 to 8 months, and then just painted.
So when you finally made the transition from, okay, the 20,000 is done, I have spent it, and now I'm for real, an artist.
Yeah.
I'm freelancer. Yes, it's all on me. Talk about that journey, because that is like a salute to you.
Soon after I quit my job, there was something called Art All Night, or
I have heard about that. Yes.
Yep, and there was something called like DuPont Underground.
Yes, been there before.
Yep. So I had gone. My sister had told me about it, and I reached out to him, and I was like, "I'll volunteer." So that's how I started. I volunteered with DuPont Underground. It's like this old guy named Ken, like this old Jewish guy. He was cool. I think he's like 70, old Jewish guy. He's still like running and gunning. And he does a whole bunch of art shows. And that was just one of them. So I volunteered. He had me go out in the cold and put flyers all around DuPont.
You was hustling. You was really showing your grind, like.
And then he was like, you can have a little setup. At the time, I didn't have much art. I had like maybe, you know, a couple different type of style art pieces. I had like some collages. I had like some paintings. And I always have T-shirts. So I always had T-shirts. So I've always been doing that. And I went with like this little rickety setup. And I sold one collage like $75. And I'm like, oh, cool, you know? And then my mother had gotten really sick. And then I didn't talk to him until my mother had passed away.
All right.
Then my mother passed away. And it was March. I was still grinding, just painting as much as I can. Still had money saved up at the time. And before I knew it was summertime, and I had reached out to the guy again. He reached out to me, wanted to, but he had an art show in DuPont where he sets up every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. And I signed up for it. Still had a little small rickety setup, not much to it, but I made like $100 the first Saturday. And then the next weekend, I made like $150. But before it was all said and done, around I think December of 2020 is when I was done with him, and like May 2020 when we started working together.
Wow.
And before it was all said and done, I was making like $1,000 a weekend off of art and T-shirts.
Hold on. Let's reframe back. You went from 0
0
to making 1,000 a weekend.
1,000 a weekend. Just slowly but surely, my art was getting better. I had just I learned the market. I was doing a lot of t-shirts, different t-shirt designs and stuff. And yeah, went from $100 in a weekend to 1,000 in a weekend over the course of like 6 months.
But that's amazing. But what I was gonna say is, I think most artists are always have imposter syndrome and always are like, okay, my art is not good enough to start selling. I love how you just started selling it and then it'll get better, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think it's all about passion.
Okay.
So if you're passionate about it, you don't really care what people think about your art. You know? And at the end of the day, if you really look at the whole scope of everything, there's a market for everyone. It's called a niche market, but it exists for everyone. There's always a niche for everyone. You could be talking about whatever. There's gonna be a niche. You could I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Hello Kitty, and there's gonna be some people that feel the exact same way. You know, there's probably a Reddit for it right now. So it's like just do what you're gonna do, and your tribe will find you if you're loud enough.
So you're talking about there's a market and there's a place for everybody.
And you gotta adapt too. So I adapted.
adapt.
I'm not gonna lie. When I went out there and I only made that $100, my art might have looked one way, and over time my t-shirt designs might have changed for that market. And then when I was done with that market, my art probably changed a little bit more. So you definitely have to adapt and change. You know what I'm saying? But all within your own scope and your own vision.
So what would you say the artist scene is right now? Because I know the artist scene is a very tight community. It's a very explain it, because it's like to me a very private club. Like you have to really be immersed in it.
Well, it depends, because there's a lot of artists and then there's full-time artists. Just like there's a lot of real estate agents and there's full-time real estate agents.
So give me scope of the whole entire scene.
So there's not many full-time artists. There's a lot of part-time artists, do it for fun, and they kind of dilute the market with cheaper art.
You can talk freely. This is wild. You say what you feel. You don't have to.
The way I feel personally, there's full-time artists that are trying to make a living based off of their artwork, and they try and price themselves in a point where we're professional about our stuff. We try and be professional about it. And then you have part-time artists who might do it for fun or for hobby, and they might put 100 hours into a painting and then sell it for $600.
Your face says it all. Like it grinds your gears. Like it just be like
because I don't. If you're gonna put that much time and effort into something, it dilutes the market when you just sell it for
600.
Yeah, fractions.
So what is the price range? Because that's the thing about art, especially in our community. I feel like if you've been exposed to it, sadly, a lot of people from our generation don't go to art galleries. It's like, what's our art gallery, sadly, even though I love art.
Okay, so the market is so weird, and I'm not really an artist. I went to school for business marketing. I went to school for mathematics. I'm more of like a thinker. So when I approached the art, even when I said I wanted to do it, it was definitely from a perspective of like, let's try and make some money, and like let's not get bamboozled in anything. So I haven't sold one original. Well, okay, take that back. I haven't sold one of my current originals, which is over 100 pieces that I just have at home that I'll never sell.
But then you know what? You bring up a good topic. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, people try to romanticize the process. Like they try to romanticize entrepreneurship. They do it all the time. They're like, oh, it's just it's a fairy tale. It's not. It's still a business. Even as an artist, even though you are, what type of artist would you? Painter? Because it seems like you won't even classify yourself even as a painter.
Right now, I am a painter.
Okay, a painter. Me as being in communications, entertainment, and that, is everybody's like, well, it's the art, but it's still a business. Get into that because people forget about that.
Yeah, you can't be naive and you can't just work for free. So when it comes to the artistry, I think the originals is like your IP. So that's pretty much like those are your masters. That's what you need to hold on to if you can. I try and just sell my prints. Even like what Spike Lee got, he got a print. You know?
Oh,
that was not my original. No, I have the original. If you want to see it?
Yes, I would love to see. Oh my
I can show
god.
it to you.
Okay, yes, but I really did. I thought that was
the original. No. So
I always keep smooth with it
because
they look like the original.
I always keep my originals. Like I said, the IP you can't value. It's invaluable. I think Basquiat, when he was here, the most he ever sold a painting for like $10,000, and now a Basquiat is the most valuable American piece ever. It went for 120 million. No, 220 million.
Right.
Yeah. So, and his family didn't see any of that. So they, so if you're Basquiat, hold on to your originals. Try to make money other ways.
But then we go into intellectual property because sadly our community don't understand. You know, a lot of times on Twitter or even social media, you'll see youngsters or like just people younger than us that like you be like, that's genius, but why did you put it on Twitter? Like, because it's intellectual property, and sadly, this is how other cultures are taking we move culture. Let's just keep it 100%. Black people are pop culture. The world don't move around if we ain't doing it. It's just it is what it is.
We were here first.
Yes. So the world don't move around unless we do. We make everything hot. We set the trends, we set the tone, and then some people come, take it, and then whitewash it. Yeah. We just keep it 100%. But we are never given our reparations. We are never given pay me. We are never given that. And this is, we're recording this in Black History Month, so I'm probably gonna be a little bit more militant than I normally am. Pay us, show us the money. Yeah. Sadly, Black artists have been bamboozled, especially in your world, because if I'm not mistaken, a white artist can easily get a painting for $500,000. And you're telling me the artist, say his name because I'm gonna butcher it again.
Basquiat.
Yes, who I have studied very much. Jay-Z paid what, maybe $5 million or something for a painting? Yeah, that's just the rumors. And his family never sees a piece of it.
Yeah, no.
And there's so many stories like that.
Yeah. Well, that's why they do talk about NFTs being this way, where because it can be written into the NFT that you get residuals. Every time it's sold, you get a percentage. So that's a way that they're talking where artists can have residuals forever, like pass that on. Okay,
then now break this down because you're talking about the art of business. Art of business, I think a lot of our listeners just give us a layman terms. I know you're going,
art of business. Yeah. Okay, so an NFT.
Yes.
Is a non-fungible token. It's pretty much like this. It's pretty much just look at it as a digital representation.
Give us an example. Give us an example.
Give us an example what an NFT is. Okay, so suppose you did a painting, and then you made a digital version.
Okay.
And then you said this digital version, there's only one of them, and this comes from me, and it's signed, and it's within this. It's within this cell. It's called blockchain.
Explain blockchain real quick.
Oh God, blockchain.
Yes, I know you breaking it down. Our listeners don't have this insight. Julian, have you ever heard about any of this?
Jeez. Blockchain is a way of keeping keeping up with like transactions and pretty much.
Okay.
So an NFT is a way to keep your art, and every time it moves, every time it moves pretty much. So you can see it. It's pretty much you're putting your art into a database where it has transactions associated with it. So you can see every time it moves.
You can check the history.
Exactly. So that being said, you can also say, when I sell this, every time it's sold after this, I want 20%. I want 40%. And you get that. It's written into the code. So it's code, it's crypto, it's NFTs. You definitely have to Google it. I'm not a genius about it.
You dropped a gem today, so people can go out.
I'm just saying it's a way to get around the whole. If you sell your art and you're not making money off of it after it's sold, you cannot keep making money after you sell.
And so it's saying that this is how white artists are continuing to constantly be rich years after, and they have never made a piece again.
Yeah, like Beeple, the dude I was talking about.
Yeah, yes. So would you say the business? Well, not even you say. How if you were scaling it, not even scaling, giving an estimate of how much you think the artist world is net worth, what would you say?
The net worth of the artist world,
Yeah.
uh,
For painting artists, photography artists, yes.
like of the whole realm of art.
However you want to break it down. If you want to say the whole art, if you want to say for black people, you want to say for white people, like for other races, like how would you break it
The
down?
art realm is there's billions and billions and billions.
There's
of
no glass
dollars.
ceilings.
No, in the art realm, like because art is only for. I mean, it was reserved for the rich. It's always been that way.
Right.
Like Michelangelo
Right.
and Picasso. These names. They work Dali. Like they work for like one family.
Right.
Like a really rich family. Like do a portrait of me. Now do a portrait of him. Now I come back. I want a portrait for my birthday. Like Queen Elizabeth gets a portrait done every year. Like it's stuff like that. It's so far up, but then it's become with the internet, with graffiti, stuff like that. People try to bring art to everyone and make it accessible to everyone. Like the fact that you can walk in the 16th chapel. You think you could do that?
No.
You can't just walk into the 16th chapel. But we're making it more and more accessible to people. People feel like it's here for everyone, but it's always been something of like money. So people that know that, and people that don't know that, don't know that. And your pricing is kind of what tells the world where you are and exactly what type of artist you are.
So you have to know the history of this business to really be able to shine bright. Because would you say, is it a crab in a barrel mentality? If you don't know, let's say you have an amazing piece and you're selling it for $6. Would someone come up and tell you, like, hey, you're selling it for $6 when you should be selling it for $600?
No one's gonna. Not many people are gonna tell you. I try and tell people that just so they don't like water down the market. So I might try and inform them. But at the end of the day, you're putting yourself in a market the moment you price yourself.
Right.
Like your pricing is what dictates what market you're gonna be in.
Right.
Like an artist, a collector, an art collector, unless he's in like a different country. Like art collectors go to different countries and they'll buy art for cheap. But in like America, like they look for art of a certain quality and they base it typically off price tag because that kind of like it dictates things. Like when you go into a store and you see a high price tag, you just assume quality. You assume
going into a high couture store than going to Target. No shade to Target, but
it's that price does something. You know what I'm saying? It does something, and if you have quality associated with it, then you'll do very well.
So, is it hard to get in access to these worlds? Is it very clumsy? I would say.
I haven't gotten access yet, so
really, I thought you would have. His art is amazing, guys. Please, I cannot.
I just started. I'm still fresh to the journey. That's why I'm holding on to all my originals.
Okay.
Until there's people until I get to the realm. It starts with galleries, but notable galleries. And it starts with. I mean, you can always do it through the internet, but that's not the route, the traditional route.
So let's get into that because with our generation and the generations that are after coming up, they're like social media is everything, and then the older generations are like, social media is
I'm
trash.
Somewhere in between.
You're a millennial. I'm a millennial. We live in the between.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in between because I think social media it's good for you and for like business, but you got to realize it is a lot of like formulas that go into it, and you don't have power over your social media.
Well, you don't own the domain. As long as you don't own the domain, you don't own nothing.
You don't have power over even who sees your stuff. Right. You might have 1,000 followers, but you post something, only 10 people see it, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I always say, hit the ground running. I had 1,000 followers for like the longest, and then I got outside and started showing off my artwork and handing out stickers and saying follow my Instagram, and I got like 2,500 in like a year.
Wow!
So it more or less, I think, go outside, talk to people. I made a lot more money in person than I made on my website. Okay. It's like in person, it is always going to be better. You can talk to your people. You can, really
connect. It's nothing like
exactly.
It's nothing like conversing like
Exactly.
we doing right now,
Exactly.
talking.
Exactly. I think the internet could hold people back at the end of the day. Unless you're really viral and you know what you're doing and you got the money for the marketing and the ads. If you really want to go that route, there is definitely money in the ads. I don't do ads, but you can.
It can get crazy. Yeah.
The thing with making money in the art realm, I think do the art. If you're passionate about it, everything's gonna fall into place.
No, you just touched something because Maya Angelou, one of somebody I follow posted a quote or a paragraph that Maya Angelou says, "I'm hate when people talk about I'm an artist. It's it's a bunch of BS. Is do the work. Most people are in love with the name artistry, but don't do the work. It's totally night and day.
Mm-hmm.
And you just said that basically.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. You're gonna have to go look. You're gonna have to figure it out because there's no like path. The artist path is always a journey,
it's the
and the
artist
journey
way.
and the journey is what's gonna be the story, and that's what the fuel is, and that's why I'm here because I have my own journey, and people find power in listening to other people's journeys, but at the end of the day, your journey's never gonna be like the one you just heard.
And that's the idea of wow, because understand that your natural essence is going to create a journey for yourself. You can never copy
No,
no one else's journey.
I
But
would say just have vision and follow it.
and to really push onto it. You know, Will Smith said, that's like one of my favorite quotes of him, that dream building is an athletic sport. It is not this I sit on windows and it's athletic. You gotta take passion, art, it's church, it's economics, it's everything
It's everything.
to make a dream, to have something in your head and like make it in your hand
Yeah.
for the world to see.
Yeah, and then get it out there to the world.
It's a powerful situation. It when you do it, you can speak on it.
Yeah, it's I think I've always been about producing and less consuming. So artistry always come like second nature, and creating stuff always comes second nature. And I think once you start on that journey, and once you see the world is receptive to what you make it is, it's a beautiful thing, and it keeps you fueled. And I think once you make that first sale, once you sell that first painting, and once you realize, oh, I can do this, just gives you that extra boost that you need to get to that next milestone, and then the next milestone, and before you know it, you're like,
there.
oh, I sold,
The journey.
$1,000, and oh, I sold a couple $1,000, and
then it goes to a couple 100,000, a couple
exactly,
millions.
everything progresses just like the iPhone. It's just like working out, just like eating healthy. It's just, if you stay at it and stay active, it's gonna work out. It's law almost, unless you're doing half-ass work. But if you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing, and we all know what we're supposed to do, and you just do that consistently, it'll always work out.
Okay. So I mentioned Will Smith. I didn't finish the whole story, guys, of how I met him. How you got in contact with Mahogany and why I'm mentioning Will Smith.
So I got in contact with Mahogany Books because when I had gotten good enough at painting that where I thought I was really good, I started marketing myself to local businesses, trying to get my product in their stores and stuff. 'Cause I was always on T-shirts. I'm like, I can do something. So I started working with a brand called Community Love.
Which is located?
They have a location at the National Harbor.
Okay.
Another location coming up at Bowie Town Center as well.
All right.
So we were there, and like a month later, Mahogany Books had opened up their second location at the National Harbor. And Ramonda, the owner, had come into Community Love, and she had purchased a painting of Fred Hampton that I had for her husband. And she told me that she had an opportunity where she was doing a window display for an unknown celebrity. And,
can we just say it, or we can't say it? Let's just say it.
And it turned out to be Will Smith.
For Will Smith book tour that he was doing.
Yep. So I ended up doing the window display, painting of Will Smith with Nelson Mandela and Muhammad Ali. That was the painting.
Did you ever get feedback from him?
Not personally. He posted me on his Instagram and said it was great.
How did you feel? Like, did you feel like I arrived? Did you feel like, okay, the work is paying off? Like,
yeah, it was definitely like a what's it called? It was yeah, it was that. It was an extra push. It was like, okay, I'm on the right path. I'm doing
Okay.
something right. I felt like I was connected to my mom. I felt like she's been like, she's been doing things and like up there. And like she's
Okay.
definitely pulling strings because it's all coming out of nowhere. And yeah, I felt great. It was fantastic. It was magical. I would say definitely. I cried, dropped a tear.
That I was gonna ask that. Like,
Yeah, I dropped a
you were
tear. I
being
dropped a
so
tear. I dropped a tear
calm.
when I got the news that I was
Okay.
gonna do it because they
Okay.
were like, I had to get approval through
Okay.
Penguin House,
Okay.
uh, and they said, yeah, you got it. We want you to do it, and I'm like, yeah, definitely dropped a tear. I was in Miami at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you saw it, were you like, when it fully got done after you did the work, did you like have to sit there for a moment by yourself and be like,
No, I'm the type like after I'm done with a painting, I'm on to the next one. So I don't really relish in the moment too much.
okay,
And like I said, I always stay at like a base emotion, so I don't really get too many highs and lows.
okay,
It's always just like
it's mellow.
it's always mellow.
So how did your family react to it? Did your parents, or well, did your father, your sister, your
Yeah,
siblings?
yeah,
But they're
everyone.
like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. They're like, yeah.
okay, this is
Thought it was
now a
happening.
career. This
Yeah,
is a
it's getting
career
crazy.
now.
It's getting crazy. Yeah, things are happening. They just knew that everything I ever spoke about, coming
So
to fruition.
if anything we could take from this interview, do the work and forget about who's the who. Just do the work.
Do the work for sure. Do the work. Be true to yourself. Don't give up. Always envision what you're gonna do, and just follow that vision. If you just follow the little bit of vision that you have, that vision get bigger and bigger.
All right, so we're about to wrap up. So now it's my favorite time. It's time for the Wild Award. Okay, so I have told you about the Wild Award. So to our listeners who are listening for the first time, the Wild Award is basically someone who paved the way for you. You might have known them, you might have not known them. You might have just saw them on TV and their story was enough to get you to do what you are doing right now and start your journey of being wild. Wild can be multiple. Wild Award can be multiple people. It could be a singular situation. It could be communities. It could be whatever. But we like here at Wild like to pay respects to who got us to where we at because we know that nobody gets here by ourselves. So who is your Wild Award, Paradise Vibing?
I would say my mother.
Of course.
She gave me the green light to
Mhm.
quit my job and do what I wanted to do, and I think if it wasn't for that, I think I would still be questioning my decision.
Okay.
Yeah, so she definitely gave me that green light.
Okay, that's your Wild Award. So, what is on the horizon in the future? Because we know you're gonna be doing book things. Like, where can people go to your galleries? Where, like, what? Tell us, because I know the
Yeah,
pandemic's
definitely.
about to
Yeah.
stop. You can come back out.
Follow me on Instagram at
Okay.
ParadiseVibing,
Okay.
just like it sounds. And I'm in Community Love. I have
Okay.
artwork there. I'm about to have some artwork in Mahogany Books as well for sale in
Ooh.
there.
Okay.
I'm also in cahoots with Busboys and Poets. About to have some artwork in their locations as well.
Okay.
So just hopefully by the end of 2022, you shouldn't even have to ask. You'll
And of course, Wow will be a definitely supporter and will be supporting anything you do. We got your back from now on.
Thank
You
you.
have now joined. I say this is a fraternity, sorority type of situation. We have developed so many. You are now a part of the Wow
Well,
family.
let's have a party.
Oh, I will talk to you about that afterwards because he knows that's a vision that's coming up.
Exactly.
Well, that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to another episode. Wow. Please tune in, comment, and share while it's available on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Also follow us on IG at _WILDHUMAN_ Also follow me on Instagram _introducing Melissa _. And before we close out, remember this. Inside all of us is hope. Inside all of us is fear. Inside all of us is an adventure. Inside all of us is a wild thing. My name is Melissa, and this is Wild. See you later. Peace.